Cardashift is a launchpad that is building on Cardano that's looking at creating some impact in certain areas of society, including better water, better air, food, ecosystems, health, education, and finance for all. They're trying to create that big impact through projects that they onboard onto their Launchpad platform. They're going through a ICO sale at the moment, so check it out if you're interested. Make sure you read over the white paper, do your research. But in this interview, Vincent joins me to talk all about their platform, what they're trying to achieve, and their goals and the roadmap, team, timelines, everything around the project that you need to know. So let's get into this.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
I have Vincent joining me on this episode to talk about a platform which I've just come across called Cardashift. It's doing some really interesting things. I love the headline, "Debug the World." Like, it's a ambitious headline, and I absolutely love it. And Vincent is here to talk all about the platform and educate everyone about it. Vincent, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Pete. It's really nice to be here. And debug the world. It's basically the headline that fits the most with the Cardano community. So we told you it was the good one. Yeah.
All right. And we're going to learn all about what that actually means. But before we do, I would love to actually understand a little bit about your background and where you're coming from. So first off, how did you get into the crypto space and how did you get into Cardano?
Yeah, definitely. See, basically, I'm Vincent. I'm the co-founder and chief community officer of Cardashift. But before that, I did a lot of things. So basically, a friend of mine told me about Bitcoin in 2016. He was saying, "Yeah, man, you're gonna earn a lot of money." So at that time, I was already trading a bit, but on the traditional markets. And I had two rules. So one, do your own research, which is quite a good one, and two, do not invest in something you do not understand. So not saying I'm understanding blockchain into the whole blockchain, because I believe it's way too big and too early to really understand the technology and what it can do. But still, I read Satoshi's paper, I invested, and then afterwards I read a lot more about the technology behind what we can do with the technology and what the common people, you Pete, and everybody can do if we are holding together and do things for the same vision. So basically, I learned about the technology for almost 1 year and a half, evenings and nights. Beside my freelance job, I was a digital marketer, and I've done a bit of web development. And after that, I started in 2018 working in the French ecosystem, basically. And regarding Cardano, I heard about it in 2017, late 2017. I think it was Charles Whiteboard first. I was quite aligned with the vision of a better world. And also I was really charmed. I think it's a word by the academic approach Cardano has, which is in my mind of really paramount importance when we're talking about infrastructures, and especially to most digital infrastructures regarding the value. I was already thinking about that, and I've seen a lot of protocols going out there with just startup with the startup vision of doing things. So you go fast to the market and then you see, and which is quite good in Web 2 in my mind, because you can do that. And okay, maybe you will lose the email addresses of your clients or customers, but yeah, when we're talking about money, I guess we need to be a bit more careful. And the approach Cardano has, it's the same that, for instance, Tezos has too. It's in my mind the good one when we're talking about the infrastructures. So I decided to come in, and at first I was investor and was reading the papers, and then I decided to join a bit more the community. But it was not that long ago. It was in 2020 and 2020, and I was a bit shy, and backwards I'm more the guy who reads and not who talks. But now I'm here, and I decided to found this project on Cardano. So basically, I need to talk now and to learn more about the community.
Yeah, definitely. Any project that you're jumping into, you do need to actually engage and show your face and everything. Now, I love the fact that you brought up the old Web 2. You could be a lot faster to market, and of course, like building Web 2, you can be a lot more agile. If something breaks, you can change and deploy something really quickly, but not on a blockchain. It's a hell of a lot harder to deploy and be agile in a sense to actually deploy something quickly. But Cardano seems to be doing well with this hard fork combinator event. So it's an interesting aspect, but it came many years of research to be able to do that and implementation. How did you come into the project, and what exactly is it? What are you guys trying to solve in the world?
Yeah, so maybe I'm going to start with what we're trying to do, and you will quite quickly understand how we came to that. But it's a lot of years of work and knowing the market, learning about the market, and I'm talking really about the social and environmental markets, and I'm going to explain that. And especially since we're working, I've been working for almost 2 years in Western Africa, so especially in Ivory Coast, I've seen a lot of things that could be better, definitely. And my partners and everybody around us have been seeing that for a lot of times, and we decided to jump in and say, hey, blockchain can help us achieve some of the SDGs, even if today we are not talking about sustainable development goals of the UN framework, but we have a more academic and scientific framework we are looking at. But that the SDGs are all right in our mind too, and we will definitely spoke about that. So basically, what we are. So Cardashift is a community-run launchpad, future community-run launchpad based on Cardano, with the aim of accelerating startups, entrepreneurs solving social and environmental challenges. The idea is not to be the basic launchpad as we can see today, where you have a huge community of investors. You have projects, you put the projects, you fund the projects with a ultra low market cap, and then the project goes to the moon. That's not what we want to do, because we have a strongholds in the real economy. We have 3 companies behind, and we've got a lot to do to push the projects into the real world. So basically what we decided is, on top of the funding side, we will provide a free pre-funding support and guides entrepreneurs to find the innovative tokenized business models they need to have, maximize their impact, and develop their ventures as financially viable investments. And it's not. We need to look at impact ventures without any bullshit word, as ventures that can be financially viable, and blockchain and the tokenization part of it can help us do that. We already seen some projects that are doing that, but it's still nascent, because as of today, it's mostly the crypto world is with the crypto world, and we do not have a real impact as of now. So basically we decided to create this whole ecosystem where we are able to select projects, filter projects, select projects with our community, help them for 1 to 3 months before the funding to de-risk a maximum. So basically, what is your go-to-market strategy? How do you tokenize? What are your plans for the future? What is the good team to have? What are the good partners, etc., etc. After those 3 months, we can do the funding, and after the funding, there is an acceleration program where you are supported for at least 6 months, and it will really depends on the types of projects that are coming in. We have already today digital natives projects which are fully digital, so that's quite straightforward for us and for the crypto community. But regarding projects that are more industrial projects, the time to market it's not the same. The roadmap is longer, and the ROI, which is looked by the investors, is not the same. Basically, it's maybe you will have your ROI in 2 years and not 2 months like you can have in crypto. So basically, we need to move at 2 paces, and that's what we're trying to do. So basically, to sum up, we're a Kickstarter-like platform using blockchain technologies to find new ways of doing business in a profitable way while being directed solely on impact. So, and when I say impact, it can be the numbers of liters of water you depollute in the year, or it can be the plastic the number of people you give a bank account, for instance, a bank account, a wallet. Yeah. So yeah, short, but yeah, you know why we do that, and we do that especially since the impact project leaders are currently struggling having the money, and even if a lot of money is coming into the space, it's not sufficient, and the money does not make everything. We need the money and we need the competencies too. And most of these entrepreneurs have a really clear vision of what they're trying to achieve, but they are alone. They can't do that. But with the power of the community and funding, I believe they can do a lot more, and we've seen that already for projects which are not tokenized at the moment.
All right. Absolutely brilliant. That was a really good rundown and overview of everything. So let me just cut that down. So you're essentially connecting people in the world that would be socially and impact minded. So looking for ways to help make the world a better place, essentially. Looking for sustainable companies to invest in, social impact companies to invest in, and you're connecting those people globally to the projects that you are vetting and auditing themselves, making sure that these projects can actually deliver and they've got good teams, etc., and then providing the funding from your launchpad to them to actually do whatever they need to do, whatever they want to do. And I'm assuming there'll be some sort of return on investment. Like you said, it might be 2 years, might be 3, 10 years even, back to the platform for the token holders that originally invested into the platform.
Yeah. Cool. So it really depends, on the types of token that will be emitted. But for instance, there are projects that will use a utility token. So basically, the return of investment is the actual token which goes higher in value, for instance. But the idea is to direct the money, especially the money which is in the crypto space right now, into impact projects. And if we can show the world that you can have your Android-X while having an impact, we will be very happy because we truly believe it's possible. We are doing that, and we are already doing that in our daily lives, because we're 3 companies which we provide services to other companies. So it's just a natural link with what we were doing just before.
Right. So what are these 3 companies that currently exist that you're already servicing?
Yeah, so we gathered that as 3 companies to launch the Kadashift. So SmartChain, Matters, and Stim. So I'm from SmartChain. I'm partner at SmartChain. So basically, we needed to have the whole spectrum of competencies to really be able to take a project and help them deliver. And even after delivering, after the accelerator program, we do already have VCs and investment funds that are looking at us saying, hey, it means that when you finish the accelerator program, we can invest for the Series A, Series B, etc. So there's a natural link created, and we needed to have the core competencies to create the framework and be able to scale the framework with the community and with our the same companies as ours, but in other countries, because we're not. I'm not based in Argentina, so I cannot work in Argentina. I don't know what's going on the ground. It's not my place to do that. I can provide framework, I can provide technology, but I can't provide the whole spectrum of services that I will be able to provide in France, because I'm based in France and my teams are in France. So we decided to gather 3 companies around 3 expertise. So first one is blockchain, SmartChain. Second one is everything around product design and product market fit. So it's Matters, which is a startup studio in Paris, and the third was Impact. Sorry, so which is Steam. So how do you assess, measure, and deliver what you promised regarding impact? So maybe just to deep dive, so you know a bit better around the company. So Matters, as I said, is a startup studio. For them, so it's their work is to help ideas becomes a company becoming then a success. Sorry, they have a team of 50 plus people. In the last 14 years, they've supported more than 150 startups with a cumulative value of more than 1 billion in terms of value right now. So quite good. They have a success rate of more than 90%, and for that is basically the applications there that comes to the market are still live 3 years later. So they bring mainly their expertise in business and service design. So take a project and a use case and you design it the right way to fit with your target market, etc., etc.
Brilliant. It's good that they have so much experience in building in existing startups already. So anything that goes through this Cardashift platform would have the experience of that company as well to hold their hand essentially through the process.
Yeah, definitely. And it was quite funny story, but when we first onboarded them into the crypto space, they tried everything around MetaMask and connecting to Web3. You create, I don't know, Binance account, you do your KYC, you learn how to buy crypto on Binance, then you create a MetaMask, you put your funds on your MetaMask, then you're gonna connect to anything, DEX, Uniswap, etc., etc. You lose one transaction and you pay the fees. You don't know why. At every step, there is a warning saying, "Hey, if you do something bad, you will lose your money," etc., etc. They were like, "Hey, how can that work right now?"
It doesn't give you much confidence, does it?
No. No, the first time they said to us, really, I'm the tech kind of guy. I'm more than 14 years in the sector. Web2, I know. But if you weren't with me at the moment, I would have stopped right away because I'm too afraid to lose my money. I don't know what you did. And they were like, how is it possible in 2021 to have, we were in 2021, to have like 60 clicks or more to do anything?
I know.
And yeah. And so they have a huge importance into Cardashift, especially regarding the projects we're gonna launch and we're gonna help and support directly. And Steam too. So Steam is the second company. They are specialists in what we call radical innovation. So basically, they explore any new business model company can have on their markets. So they're working with the big corporates in France to explore new ways of doing business and to be able to be sustainable in the future. They have been doing that for almost 7 years. In France, they're working with leaders in energy, food, and mobility, for instance. They have a huge team of impact assessment and everything around how you can follow up on that too, because you can have a claim on impact, but what you do day one will change what your claim was on impact too. You need to be able to follow up at that in time, and they're already doing that because they've been watching and helping a lot of accelerators here in France for the past 7 years.
Wow, amazing.
That's for the impact side.
Yeah.
And SmartChain, which is my firm, is we're focused on blockchain. We're 40 people right now, I guess 39 in Paris. We decided to specialize in blockchain development, but only around proof of stake blockchains as of now. And of course, only public blockchain, but that's come out the sense. It's quite normal, and we do push. We have a lot of people in the company which were looking at Cardano, and which were trying to learn Haskell, but some of them saying, "Hey, Haskell is not for me. I prefer JavaScript," and etc. But still, we are really passionate about that. We are already working with AOHK in some way. We are featured in their strategic partners list, SmartChain and SmartNode, which is our subsidiary working on developing and maintaining nodes on several proof of stake blockchains. And yeah, we're working on different types of use cases on different types of blockchain, and we decided to stop being only the service provider, and to really do our own projects, which is in a sense what we already do, but with the infrastructure behind the Launchpad and all the ecosystem to help any entrepreneur which is willing to have an impact in our world in the next few years. So yeah, here we are.
So that is a massive, solid team behind Cardashift in general. So all those people, all that expertise to help any of the startups that go through. So that's absolutely amazing. I was looking at the team page a little bit earlier, last week or so, and there are a lot of people on there. Are these select people from all of these companies that are working specifically on Cardashift? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we're not all full-time right now, I must be honest, but we will be, this team will be full-time when we will have launch, when we'll move forward. We are still in early phases. We're just finishing. We will do our public sale later this month, and then afterwards we're just rolling out to the launch of our Launchpad and everything else. So the first projects are coming in. We've got a lot of projects knocking at our doors, and we will be more than 40 working on the projects on a daily basis, quite quickly. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned there's a token launch coming up very soon. So let's go through token launch, how projects are onboarded onto the system as well, and how users that hold the token can benefit from purchasing the token, and how they're intertwined within the projects as well. So can you talk about firstly the token launch? When's that happening, and how can people participate in that particular launch?
Yeah, we will launch our public sale at the end of the month, and it will the KYC will start on the 21st, and we've got two rounds sale with a flash sale in 24 hours and a public sale in 4 days, which will happen on the 27th and on the 28th until the 31st of January. 31st of January, and yeah, we already did a private sale in October, a $1.5 million private sale, which we did to start developing the Launchpad and basically have the money needed to build our community and to be able to raise the 8 million approximately we're looking to raise at the end of the month.
Okay, right.
So that's for the token launch. Yeah.
Are there limits to token launch per user? Because you're saying there's a flash sale and then there's a 4-day sale. So are there limits? What type of price points are you selling the token at? Any details around that available yet?
Yeah, so we are pricing our token, which is named CLAP, CLAP, regarding ADA's price. So basically, the rate will definitely change just before the actual fundraising, because it will depend on ADA's price. We are not looking to raise 15 million. If ADA goes up or down, we will adjust the rate to raise only 8 million, because that's what we need. We don't need more at the moment, and we will need 8 million to deliver our promises. So, and regarding the limits, you can do your KYC and earn and invest from 200 ADAs to 15,000 ADAs. That's the limits for both flash and public sale.
Okay, all right. So there are
And
limits
there is
for...
no, and there is no vesting time.
Okay, all right, cool. So once people have the tokens, what can people actually do with that until you actually launch? So there's a period of time where you got to develop your platform, get projects in. I saw staking available on the white paper and a DEX as well. Like, what are you guys building out to make the ecosystem?
Yeah, so our first priority is our Launchpad. Afterwards, we are definitely looking towards DEXs and wallets too, but it's not set in stone right now, because there are a lot of teams out there that are doing a great job, and we do not know if we're gonna build it from scratch, or if we're gonna partner up with the right partners on those topics. Our main product is the Launchpad and the acceleration program. The other products are just tools for our entrepreneurs which are coming on the platform, and they need a wallet to onboard their users. They aren't gonna develop their wallets. They need to have an easy to use white labeled wallet for the use case, which is into the real world. And the idea is to create the ecosystem of tools needed for any project which is real world based. They need just a wallet, the ability to easily interact with a DEX and to make transaction, etc., and that we will provide. We are planning to develop them. Maybe we won't if we have the good partners to move forward. And regarding the token utilities, at day one, we will be able to use the token through our voting by staking process. So basically, to explain the utility, the first utility of the token, it's to be able to get a whitelist into a sale on the Launchpad. So to do so, we have a process which is quite clear. If we have 100 projects, filled out a form to enter the next batch of the Launchpad, we will do a filter. As Cardashift, the team there's a filter, a quick filter, scam or not scam, impact or not impact, etc., to narrow down maybe to 20 projects. Those 20 projects are pushed to the community. They have dedicated channels on Discord. They have AMA, etc., to be able to push their projects to our community, and the community has then the capacity to vote by staking tokens on the projects. The idea behind our voting system is to be able to find a way to squeeze. Or not to squeeze, but to not to favoritize the people which are the richer. Basically, I believe we have a lot of different populations around there. I've been speaking with Vietnamese people yesterday on our Discord. I'm speaking with people in Ivory Coast. I'm speaking with people in France and in the US too. The purchasing power are not the same, that's for sure. So we cannot we cannot have a system where the guy who's the richer has the more power. That's really not possible. So on that, we decided to have a two-way approach into our voting system, which is based on one, the total amount staked on a project, and two, the number of wallets that are staked on the project. So basically, if you want to be selected, for instance, you need to have at least 10% of the total amount of CLAP staked, but you need also to have at least 10% of the wallets. And doing so, we ensure at least we have something which is fair for everyone. And if you happen to vote on the good project, on the right project, you have then a guaranteed allocation into the Launchpad if the project goes to the Launchpad. Because after the selection by the community, we deep dive into every project to ensure we will move forward with them. and we do a selection. Maybe there are 5 projects selected by the community. We will retain only 2, but every project will have a sheet which will be published online to explain why we didn't choose them. The idea behind is in 18 months, maybe 24, I want to hand out the whole system to the community. But as of now, I cannot trust the community to be the good assessor. But I can help them understand how to best assess a process, a project. So basically, they are intervening at the middle of the process. They help us narrow down the projects, and then afterwards we explain to them why we choose one of projects or not, and that's for one part regarding the voting systems and the selection process of the projects. So the club here has an utility. Yeah.
I love that. It's especially the way that you're approaching it in the early days. Let the community narrow down the projects and then educate them on how to assess them. So over time, that community will get better and better, and then put you guys out of the job, maybe. Not necessarily.
Maybe.
But the idea is, I'm guessing you're trying to make this as decentralized as possible and put it into the hands of the community and get them to drive the projects, drive the funding, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when the projects get selected and the final 2, in this case, are put forward, I'm just trying to understand how this part of the Launchpad works. So when those 2 projects are put forward for funding, do I then at that point purchase more tokens that company would be releasing?
Yeah, so at day 1, yeah, you will. So when the voting phase is done, you can unstake your token. And it means you will have a guaranteed allocation on the Launchpad. So when the project will launch, so you have the allocation and you can invest at that moment. So at the moment when you want to invest, you will invest CLAP or other cryptos, but you will have a fees on other cryptos. But if you want to invest CLAP, you invest CLAP on the project directly, and you get in return the token from the project. So it's a basic Launchpad ICO system where I give you one token and you give me another one in return with a fixed rate, and we can adjust basically depending on how many phases the project want to have in terms of funding, etc., etc. And that's only one type of funding we are thinking about, and that's only for the projects which are looking for the utility tokens or governance tokens. We plan to go on security tokens too, because there are a lot of projects out there that just need liquidity and money, but they have no interest at all into having their own utility token. But we need to help them too. Day 1, we won't be able to do that because there are plenty regulation problems around that matter. But yeah, we are planning to go there, and we have also different types of funding. We are looking. I work a lot with NGOs, especially in Western Africa, and we can find new way of funding them, especially using stake pools. But yeah, from day 1, we won't do that. For day 1, it's quite a basic Launchpad. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've actually never participated on a Launchpad before. So I'm learning this experience. And I know a lot of my community members haven't used a Launchpad either, because it's their first, Cardano's been their first coin, and they only joined in 2021. So in terms of actually using Launchpad, I'll get the CLAP tokens. Do I use my CLAP tokens to buy into the company, or do I use more ADA at that point?
So it really depends. We are open to other crypto. You can invest in CLAP. If you invest in CLAP, you get 100% of what you invested. You can invest in other cryptos too, but you get a 4% fee, which is used for us to buy back our token and burn the token to ensure we have a supply which will go down in time, and we have a strong buy pressure on the token. So basically, the idea for us is to incentivize people to buy CLAP and invest in CLAP. If they don't want to do so, we charge a fee which is used to incentivize the club to go up in terms of price. So you can invest in whatever you want, but the easiest way is to do that in club or ADAs offshore, for sure.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Learning a little bit more about the whole process of launchpads and how they all work. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, and most of the launchpad, from my experience, I have done a lot on Ethereum and the Binance Smart Chain in the past year, and I've done the process as a project and I've done the process as an investor. It really depends on the launchpad, on how they accept currencies and how they are able to make the connection between what's the price of the currency at the point one and what's the rate, how many tokens do I need to hand over to the type who just invested. And most of them are just doing you invest 1 Ethereum and you get that in return, and you can only use Ethereum. And yeah, so it really depends. For us, it was really important because we want to incentivize clap holders to hold clap and to use clap directly.
Okay. All right. Understood. Okay. So we know a lot about the whole funding side of things now and how that works and the token utilities, which is fantastic. But what about the projects now, the impact that you're going to have? What type of projects are you going to look for, and what type of impact are you going to look for? Purely sustainability, like eco-friendly, planting trees, what type of projects are going to come in? What type of interest have you got at the moment?
Yes, we've got quite a lot of interest coming from the market, especially, and that's really interesting in my mind, is from people which are not at all into blockchain right now. They are far away from that, but they've learned about what they can do and what the technology can bring to them, and they're looking forward to learn more and to do things, but they need to be supported because they won't do that all alone. So it really depends. We have already more than 5 projects which are, in our mind, first step, a high potential. That's not sure now, but it seems to be a high potential. And we have a lot of other projects which are more for the future. Like, for instance, we have projects around how we can help cooperatives, agricultural cooperatives, to structure as a DAO to invest into manufacturers to help them transform directly on the ground as that the manufacturer that becomes only is used for its use. You can book a slot to transform your cocoa into butter, and the idea is to help them fund those type of initiatives, because as of today, they do not get anything, and they aren't able all alone to operate such kind of facilities. So that's one of type of projects. I have a lot coming in, but it's maybe too soon right now on our launchpad, but it will go there one time, that's for sure. But yeah, maybe I'm going to just take a step back and say what we mean by impact, because it's quite a bullshit word, buzzword right now. Everybody says impact all the time, and maybe I should just explain a bit more what do we mean by impact. So for us, impact, it's something which should be tangible and positive. So we need to prioritize themes that are linked to vital human needs. So vital human needs, we narrow down it to 7 categories. And to do that, we use the well-known taxonomies built by the GEEN. I'm going to thank you the link afterwards. It's scientific taxonomies. And they are robust, but yet very complex. SDGs stands out that for too, but the SDGs is quite a clear way to understand things for the mass market. Those kind of taxonomies are really go deeper into every subject, and it's not the mass market cannot understand that and don't want to understand that because it's so complicated. But we, based on that, we identified 7 themes, which is to 7 goals and 7 emergencies we want to address, and we want the projects that are launched on our platform to address, basically. So to break down that, we have water. So it's providing all human beings with access to safe drinking waters. We can narrow down into sub-objectives, but such the big one. Air, so we need to provide good air quality for all people at all times. Food, kind of obvious, we need to provide all people with sustainable access to food and adequate food too. Ecosystems, we need to provide human beings with the ecosystem they need to, which need to be stable around them. So basically the communities, etc., etc. Health, so sustainable health security for all human beings. We need to provide education, which is for me the most important one, but we need to provide quality education for all human beings, and we need to help human being able to pursue scholarship without having to pay a penny, or by finding other way to do things, and to finance everything. And the last themes is of course finance. So basically provide every human being with financial security. And around these 7 themes, we have quite a lot of use cases, I guess, that can emerge from it. So basically, we're looking at any project that can fit into these cases. We will be definitely first looking forward to projects which are more the digital projects. So maybe it will be more about finance and education, for instance, or health and ecosystems, but and that we need to do that at step 1 because we need to have a return on investment which is quite quick. We need to prove we can have successes, and if we go on heavy industrial projects at day 1, our investors will say, "Hey, okay, but I won't wait 2 years, man." So, so we need to move forward and have success this year. We're gonna launch the first projects in spring, and we need to have successes this year.
I think that's a really good approach. It's especially if it's all digital projects. The company, was it Matters?
Yeah.
Yes. So considering they're a digital agency that's very well experienced in delivering web digital solutions, it should be a quick turnaround for a lot of their projects that they can push through the system and their workflows. So I think that's an absolutely brilliant approach and probably the best way to go about it. So in terms of the roadmap then, we're at the token sale launch phase at the moment. What comes next? What does 2022 look like for Cardashift? And when can people be expecting to see something, the launchpad actually in place and projects coming in, the voting process? When's that all going to happen?
Yeah, so launchpad developments are currently undergoing. We're already building it. We have still some development to do, still some questions around Cardano maturity, when we will launch, which taxes will be out, what will be the ecosystem in 1 month, because I believe it will be quite different. Everything is going really fast. So we have still this thing to wait and see, basically. But for our roadmap, I think we need to isolate 3 things: the products we're going to launch, the projects we're going to support and fund, and the ecosystem we need to create to do that. And regarding products, we will launch the Launchpad in spring. I'm not saying any date as of now because it's too soon to say anything, but it will be in spring normally. Regarding other products such as wallets, etc., we do have them on our roadmap, but we cannot say any exact date as of now because it really depends on how the ecosystem evolves. Because for me, we do not have any competitor. We just have people with whom we can work with, and the stakes are so high that we just need to work together instead of trying to be better than the other. So regarding projects, we'll see. Regarding projects, we will launch 2 to 3 batches this year. And out of each batches, we have 1 to 3 selected projects that will come out. We will definitely try, and we already applied in Fund 7 to do that, to take Catalyst projects which have a high impact potential and to give the continuity with what Catalyst does at first, which is really good to ignite new projects, but the follow-up is not there yet, or it's difficult, but we are proposing to be one follow-up, one potential follow-up, and we will definitely like to take 2 or 3 projects from Catalyst and to help them move forward. And regarding ecosystem, which is the last point, we really need to gather the world, and by doing so, I'm just saying we are onboarding quite a few advisors and ambassadors. We will definitely have some announcements to do around that, but we are trying to onboard the right people. And when I mean the right people, is basically I know there is a problem with the sea, and the sea is getting polluted, but it's not my job. I just know it's a problem, and we need to solve that problem. But there are a lot of people which are already working on that, and which we need to hear. So basically, our approach towards advisors and people in the ecosystem is to we have one theme, which is water. So we need to have the people knowing about water and which are able to help us move forward on the matter and create debates around our community, and so we can decide all together which is the good way the good path to move forward. So that's 3 things: products, projects, ecosystem, and by doing so, we truly believe we can onboard the mass market too, and our main goal is to be able tomorrow to have a launchpad which is available for people. For my mother, for instance, we could use that on her cell phone, and why not invest in a project with a credit card? Why not? That's where we want to head. Let's see if we can do that.
Okay, so beautiful UX experience, onboarding users that don't necessarily need to know about crypto, straight into the ecosystem that way, and voting and participating in Cartershift. It sounds absolutely amazing, and the roadmap sounds pretty good as well. In terms of the community engaging with you right now, what's the best places to engage with Cartershift?
The best places are Twitter for the openness, and definitely Discord, where you can engage. The team is there. We respond to questions. We will host AMAs almost every week, technical and more functional AMAs. We're there on Discord, and happy to have our community member coming, ask questions if they're engaged, and if they engage a lot, they will get up in ranking, and we prepare a lot of things for people who really engage, because the basis is our community, and I've been receiving a lot of messages from people who say, hey, how can I take part to all of that? I want to do this. You've got the good vision. You aligned with Cardano's ecosystem and the vision at the inception of Cardano. I just want to help. How can I help? I know how to do that. I know I'm a website developer. What can I do, basically? And we have a huge stake at being able to gather a community and be able to engage this community. So she's the one who works with us to deliver the vision, and there are a lot of people into the Cardano space which are just great people, and they have a lot of competences too, and just side things to say, if we can find other Haskell developers, I'd be thrilled, because it's quite difficult to find developers right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll do a shout out to if any. Well, there's a new cohort of Plutus pioneers, so it may be perfect timing to onboard them into your ecosystem, or put out a shout out in the IOG chats to find new developers. Yep. So they'll go through the course. 10 weeks later, hey, I need a job. Maybe pick me. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. I'll put links to everything in the show notes so that people can find and learn more, engage with the community. I think this is an absolutely brilliant idea, a launch pad to actually debug the world. I love that tagline. So it's absolutely fantastic. Vincent, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast and explaining everything about Cardashift. It's a lot to take in. It may be my very first launch pad that I participate in, and I'm glad it's built on Cardano as well. Maybe I'll look at the ones built on Ethereum, but I don't think so. It's going to cost a fortune. So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
So make sure you check out the website. Thank you so much, Vincent, for joining me on the podcast to talk all about it as well. The ICO sale literally would be starting by the time you watch this video. So check out the details. Make sure you look over the white paper. There is a KYC process, so not everyone can participate in it. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. So if you like this type of content, if you love this interview, please give me that thumbs up, click subscribe, click that notification bell, and you hear more great Cardano content from me soon.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.